And welcome back to the Ultimate Fan Chat, where you got two blokes just talking about UFC because that's what we dig. Anyways, my name's Chris. I'm back again with handsome Dan Park. Yep, and we're going to be talking about UFC 235 because that is one stacked card. I'm super excited for that. What about you, Dan? You pretty pumped for that?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I love this card.
Oh baby,
I'm
it's going to be
really
sick.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, we should probably start this off. We'll quickly mention our sponsors. We've got them up on the page. You can see it in the bottom left-hand corner. We've got Aussie Pet Doors and Scammer, because
And
we
we
love them
have
so much.
a special promotion for you guys.
Yes, very
At Oz
special.
Pet Doors, if you type in the promo code UFC10, 10% off.
Yes, yes, very excited for that. So, any Ultimate Fan Chat customers out there, or viewers, you can become an Aussie Pet Door customer and get 10% off. Don't know if it's going to work. Hopefully it does. Maybe you have to speak to Izzy and be like, hey, we watched the Ultimate Fan Chat. Can we get 10% off? And then say UFC 10. Don't know why he chose UFC 10 as the promo code. We were just trying to figure that out. Because that's the fight with, the main event for that was the Mark Coleman Don Fry. That was the tournament. So, yeah, I don't know why he chose that, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I don't know, maybe go to Scammer and be like, hey, we know Kris, Dan, and Pete. See what happens. Maybe they'll charge you double the price. That'll be pretty cool. Like, those guys, fuck them. Yeah, anyway, hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully. Well, hopefully it
Oh,
does, just for shits and gigs. Well, I've got toilet paper there.
why? Because I am recovering from a virus.
Ah, a
Ah,
virus.
virus. Yeah, I've been a bit sick. I've had the cold.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Oh, I can hear
Oh, I
myself.
can get myself. Alrighty. That's because I'm wearing my headset, right? But here's the catch: I don't have the wire in. All right.
You are a fool. A fool, I tells you.
Oh.
Oh, that is honestly the funniest thing I've heard all day. But that could be because I haven't heard many funny things today as well.
Mm.
All right. Let's get into it because we want to smash this out as quick as possible. Because I'm assuming you got
Yes.
plans today. You got work. I got plans today. We've got to get shit done. So we'll start from
So,
Diego Sanchez and Mickey Gall because that's a more interesting fight than I think people are going to give it credit for.
yes, I completely agree, and I even put in $20 on guess who?
Diego Sanchez.
Yes, yes, I
Yes,
did.
that's the man to put it on. I 100% agree with that. Give me your reason why.
Well, you look at the way Gull fights, right? He's very good at doing one thing: getting a takedown, getting to someone's back, and choking them. And I'm pretty sure he's won all of his fights, if not most of his fights, by rear naked choke. So here's the thing about Sanchez, right? He can't take a shot anymore. He's short, but he's always been grindy, and he's always been very, very good at not getting submitted. He beat Marcin Held, and I was wow, like that was a performance. So $20 on Sanchez on a I think he's 4-1 underdog. Not a bad idea.
Well, Dan, you took the words right out of my mouth because I 100% agree. If you go through Sanchez's wins over the past couple of years, they've been against grapplers. They've been and good grapplers. I mean, Jim Miller is a really, really good. I can't remember that fight. Maybe they stood up and just banged the whole time. They didn't get fired on the night, I think. I can't remember, but I assume they grappled because Diego Sanchez rarely wins a stand-up war these days because, as you said, he doesn't have a chin. So, and yeah, that Marcin Held fight, like he got caught in some very precarious positions where he could have been choked out, but he found a way out because he is just that goddamn dog who doesn't give a fuck if you're going to choke him unconscious. He's going to work a way out of that submission whether he passes out doing it or not. He's an
Mm.
absolute beast. And you go through like earlier on in his career, he fought what's his name, Kara Parisian, and he out grappled Kara Parisian. Diego Sanchez has always been one of the better grapplers in the welterweight division or the lightweight division, wherever he goes. It's just the fact he's never.
Featherweight.
Sorry.
He even fought at featherweight.
Yeah, that didn't go so well for him. But yeah, as a lightweight, as a welterweight, he's always done really well in the grappling department. He's out-grappled majority, if not all, the people he fought. Like, he even fought Clay Guida, although that was more of a stand-up, but that still went to the ground a lot, and he dominated that. He beat Joe Stevenson, once again, stand-up, but that was earlier in his career. But going later on, like, Paulo Thiago beat him in the grappling. Um, as you said, Marcian Held. Craig White, his latest win, he won that in the grappling as well. So, yeah, he's always had, like, it's not super technical, but it's just pressure, 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 pressure. It's like Dave Kemp Jiu-Jitsu. It's just
Very great.
brutal pressure, and he's just like, if he gets on top of you, you're gonna struggle. Like, he beat Nick Diaz in a grappling match. Like, it was a MMA fight, but it was essentially grappling the entire time, and it was fucking fun. That was one of the most fun fights I've ever watched. I think, what was that? The Ultimate Fighter season 2 finale. I think that's what it was. I've got the freaking thing right in front of me. I don't even know why I'm asking. Yeah, season 2. So yeah, I agree with you, Thiago Sanchez. I think he's got more upside if you're putting a bet on. So yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on from that. We'll go to we'll skip Cody's stamina. Don't really care about that. Misha Serkinov and Johnny Walker.
Yes.
That's a fun fight, man.
It is, and guess who I put money on?
Don't tell me Johnny Walker.
No, I didn't.
Okay, cool. Misha Serkinov.
Yeah, I put money on Misha.
Yep.
And here's the thing, right? I don't rate Johnny Walker. I really don't. But I bet against him the last match, and he knocked my guy out like within seconds. So it's like I try to apply logic to this, right? I look at Misha and I'm going, all right, he's had a bit of bumps, but he's a much better grappler than Walker. He's got a decent chin. He can weather the storm. I think he does. I hope he does, for the sake of my wallet. Takes Walker down and knocks him out or submits him. But the problem is, right, you look at Johnny Walker, and as I said before, I don't rate the guy. Even then, he pulls out a knockout out of nowhere. So it's like, it's very, very weird. He's like trying shit that when you learn in kickboxing, they tell you not to do. And it fucking works. It's very weird, it's very odd, but it works. But I'm still betting against him because I think Misha has the tools to beat him.
Yeah, it's it. Johnny Walker, I think, as a talent, I think he's got a lot of upside, but he's obviously still very green. And he's like green in terms of like he's fought a lot of cans, yes. He's had a couple of wins, he's lost to a couple of those cans, but he's got 19 fights, which is rare for a guy at this age in the UFC. A lot of guys come in on 10 fights and are like, oh my god, this guy's the next big thing, and they put him up against a contender and they get fucking flogged. So, this wasn't the intended match. I think Misha Serkinov was meant to be fighting someone else. I can't remember who that was meant to be. If I try to research, I could probably... OSP. There we go. Yeah, he was meant to be fighting OSP. That probably would have been a closer fight. But obviously, as you said, Johnny Walker can pull a knockout out at any second. He's 6'6", athletic as a motherfucker. You don't know what's going to happen. It could be something great. So,
Mexican guy.
Well, yeah, where was I going with that point? Problem is, Misha Serkinov, you say he has a chin, yeah, but he got caught by Volkon, he got caught by, Teixeira. He almost knocked Teixeira out on the feet. And then he got overexcited and got caught in a grappling match, and then he got stuck in mount and fucking beat to death. So, he can win the fight if he can get the fight to the ground, but it's just hard against these explosive guys. So if he does end up winning, it's going to be either a decision, so it's going to be a very long breakdown of Johnny Walker, and we're going to see like Johnny Walker A probably doesn't have a gas tank, and B doesn't have the grappling ability to like match these high guys in the light heavyweight division. But the problem is, if he does win this fight, and if it is by luck, then he's stuck in a position where he's only fighting top 10 guys now. And I don't like that idea. Because I want to see this guy flourish. I want to see him potentially even fight John Jones at some point. Because John Jones is on this tear right now. Where he's just going to be fighting all these guys that are getting wins in the light heavyweight division, but probably aren't at the best, like at the ability of say a Gustafsson and a Cormier.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to see Johnny Walker fighting a guy like Jones this soon. Because if he gets this win, all he needs is one more big win, one more big name. They could give him Patrick Cummins, and then he would get a freaking title shot off that, because that's big money. This is a huge athletic guy that fucking grinds on the referee as he's walking into the cage. People are gonna love that. Like, as soon as you show like a highlight package of just him grinding on the ref, dancing at the weigh-ins, doing all that crazy shit, people are gonna love him. That's a money fight for John Jones. Like, not huge money, but it's more money than if he fights, say, a Misha Serkinov. But yeah, a pick for this. Oh man, I'm gonna Serkinov. I can see him grinding it out and getting a TKO on the third or the second or a decision. I don't see him getting a submission or knockout in the first. Fuck it. I'm gonna go Johnny Walker because I like the underdogs. Fuck everyone. Misha Serkinov.
Johnny Walker is not the underdog, which is why I bet him on Misha.
Oh, all right. Jesus, that's silly.
You put $1 on Misha, you get $2.20 back.
Okay, so what's that? Like a 2-to-1 underdog?
Yeah, 2-to-1 underdog, 2.2.
That's
one underdog.
That's all right. That's good. That's easy money there.
Yeah, that's why I put money on.
Yeah, because fuck, I thought I was going for the underdog. Oh
no.
I'm gonna go Johnny Walker anyways, just because.
You called it.
Yeah, I like being stupid with my picks. It's fun. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the fight of the night. It's already written. The check's been written. This is fight of the night. There's nothing's going to beat this. They can't be. They can't be. I mean, maybe Cody Garbrandt, but I don't know. This is my pick for fight of the night. All right, you give your thoughts on it, then I'll give mine.
Jeremy Stephens. I like the guy. I think he's very entertaining. And if he fights smart, he can win this. If he fights smart, he can win this. But here's the issue. I think the guy's dumb as bricks. I think it's like you look at his fights and you go, when has he fought smart? And even in Gilbert Melendez's fight, where I go, oh, that's smart, hitting the legs, right? Even then, he was winding up his shots and throwing power bombs. But you need to set up those shots. You need to set up those shots. You can't just wing it. So if he plays it smart, sets up his big shots, I reckon he's going to win. But because he winds so much to throw big shots without setting it up, he's going to get countered at long range and he's going to get wrestle fucked. And while I don't think he's going to be submitted, I just think he's going to be wrestle fucked for 15 minutes and lose. Because you look at Zabit and you look at when he fought that really grindy guy, Zabit got tired and allowed himself to be pushed against the cage. That's dangerous against Jeremy Stephens, but at the same time, Jeremy needs to set up his shots and then throw a big one instead of just throwing a big one straight away, which would then allow Zabit to clinch with him, take him down, and just control him the whole fight.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree much with that, man, because yeah, that's all right. That's correct. That's what he does. He throws these big shots and he literally puts himself off balance when he throws them. It's like watching, when Johnny Hendricks used to throw that big left hand?
Yeah.
And you'd see like his back foot come flying off the ground as he throws it. That's literally how Jeremy Stephens throws every single one of his punches. He throws that big right hand, throws a big left hand, throws fucking these huge kicks where he knocks himself down. It's like, dude, relax, set this shit up. So, yeah, either way, it's going to be fun, though. I can't imagine it's not going to be fun because he turns all his fights into just stupidly fun fights. And, yeah, as you said, Zabit's going to counter a lot of these shots with his own shots, and then if the opportunity arises, he's going to counter it with wrestling. He's going to take him down because Zabit's very well-rounded and he's very strategic, so that's what he's going to do. He allowed himself to get tired in his last fight, but I think that was a fight that he criminally underrated the guy that was fighting. I think he just assumed the guy would be out within 2 rounds, and he wasn't, and he's like, shit. Now I've got to fight a third round. Oops. So yeah, I don't disagree much with that. I'm not. I just can you put money on the fact that it's going to be fight of the night though? Because surely it's going to be.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Can you?
Yeah, you can.
That's pretty good. Surely that's going to be fight of the night. But that's going to be favourite for fight of the night anyways. Alright, let's move on. We'll go to the main card now, which is Cody Garbrandt and Pedro Munoz. Do you remember a while ago we were talking about after Cody Garbrandt lost to TJ for the second time, we're like,
Yeah.
who should he fight next? I'm like, I reckon Pedro Munoz is a good fight for him. We were talking about it on the podcast, and I'm so glad he got this fight because it is a really, really good fight for him. Because Pedro Munoz is a guy who he's more favored in the grappling department.
Yes.
He does have good striking, but the problem is he's been working on his striking so much lately that he favors his striking more than he favors his grappling. So he doesn't initiate a grappling contest as much as he used to. Like he got a lot of submissions by guillotine, but now he's just constantly he's trying to stand with guys more often, which is I think he lost to who did he lose to? Dodson. Yeah, and he lost because he wasn't really initiating any kind of grappling. It was a split decision. He probably should have won, but he was trying to fight a guy who was never there to be hit. Like he kept on trying to strike with him, but Dodson was just moving around so quick he couldn't hit him. And he won his fight with Brian Caraway with a body kick, but he was kind of getting touched up a little bit in that fight as well by Brian Caraway of all people. So, yeah, this is a horrible fight for Pedro Munoz. If he fights the same way he has been fighting, he's going to get knocked out. Like Cody Garbrandt's a fucking beast, unless for some reason, Cody Garbrandt's chin is completely gone at this point because he's been knocked out twice in a row. Like he shouldn't have had that rematch with fucking TJ. He should have had he should have had this fight and then fought TJ again.
Yeah, I agree with you. Unless he gets barrowed, as in like after TJ fights, he's never the same.
Yeah.
It should favor Cody because you look at Munoz's skill set. You're right. He's a good grappler. By grappler, we mean jiu-jitsu. He's not a good wrestler. He doesn't have the wrestling game to impose his submission game. So what does this mean? It means that it's going to be a stand-up fight, which Cody quite enjoys. And just like I said, Cody hits too hard, and as the exchanges do happen, I'd imagine that Munoz will be the one losing those exchanges. Because Cody does enjoy those exchanges, and he does thrive in them. And yeah, so I put money on Cody. So yeah.
One quick thing I just want to say on the fight. Cody Garbrandt, when he was coming up, and to the fight where he fought Dominic Cruz, he did fight with a lot of aggression and whatnot, but he was still very strategic with how he set up his power punches. When he fought TJ, I didn't see any of that. He kind of turned into a Jeremy Stevens. Like he was throwing all these big punches, like that. The second fight with TJ, when he kept on throwing that right hand and he just stood in the one position without moving his head, and then he got slammed with TJ's right hand 3 times in a row until he got knocked out. It's like TJ's moving around, you're kind of just standing there taking the punches. So I'm hoping he doesn't fight like that, because if he fights like that, I do see Pedro will probably knock him out.
I get where you're coming from.
Yep.
Go on.
Well, that's kind of all I had to say. I kind of lost my train of thought, but yeah.
I completely get where you're coming from, because you look at the way Cody threw his punches, he'd go wham, throw, wham. Whereas with TJ's throwing, he's going whang, moving all the way out of the range. So yeah, it was good by TJ.
It was phenomenal by TJ. TJ showed, like, after watching those fights, like, geez, is TJ like one of the GOATs that just hasn't like fully reached his potential yet? But then obviously he went down division and we saw what happened there. Yeah, alright, we'll move on. We want to do this quick. We're 18 minutes in.
Yep.
Alright, so Teacher Torres, have you got anything to say about that? I don't have too much to say about that. Alright, I'll put my pick on Teacher Torres. Oh, but by the way, I'm picking Cody Garbrandt for the previous fight.
Yep.
Robbie Lawler and Ben Askren. Now, this is a fight that, like, this depends on who can implement what they want to do.
Yes.
Like, obviously, all fights are like that, but to a certain degree, this is more so like that. And you understand what I'm talking about. So I'll let you continue on off what I just said.
When Ben Askren joined the UFC, I said, I look at the division, and the only guy I think that can beat Ben Askren in the top 5. At that time, it was RDA, I think Darren Till. Who else was there? Yeah. I'm like, the only guy...
Wonderboy, Maya.
Wonderboy? Nah, not Maya. It would have been, what's his name? The interim champ. Kobe,
yeah. Colby.
I look at that, and I went, Askren beats them all. aside from Robbie Lawler. And the UFC gives him Robbie Lawler.
Yep.
So I'm a bit sad, very sad. Really hyped up to watch Ben Askren. I really want him to win. But yeah, I think Robbie takedown game is too strong, hits too hard, and will just light Ben Askren up and finish him. It's sad to see, but what I'm hoping to see is Ben Askren. I think Robbie will come out throwing knees to deter maybe. If that catches Ben as he's going for a double, good night. If not, I'm hoping he straight away transitions to the upper body takedowns and take Robbie down and control him. That's what I'm hoping for. But Robbie's too gritty, and I think Robbie will tune him up. What do you think?
I've got two minds of this. I think Ben Askren is either catching Robbie Lawler at the best time to beat him, or the worst time. Because there's two things there's one thing I've been hearing, and there's one thing that we know. Robbie Lawler's coming off a pretty brutal knee injury.
Mm-hmm.
So, for all we know, he's 100%. That knee is 100%. But we don't know how much takedown defense he's been practicing because of that knee. So this could be I'm sure he's been training a fuckload because he's fighting Ben Askren of all people. But when this could be the moment where, because Robbie Lawler, you and I have both spoken about this quite a bit. His takedown defense has grown dramatically through his title run. His takedown defense was almost flawless. He went from fighting Rory the first time, where Rory took him down at will, to fighting Hendricks and Rory all consecutively, and I don't think being taken down once. So, look, and Hendricks, if Hendricks can't take you down, you got fucking good takedown defense. I don't care what anyone says. But coming off this knee injury, that takedown defense may have been taken away a little bit. Maybe not, but that's just a possibility. So this could be the perfect time for Ben Askren to capitalize on that, take him down, and just beat on him for 15 minutes. I don't think Ben Askren's going to finish him, but he could beat on him for 15 minutes. Or I've been hearing a lot of Robbie Lawler because Robbie Lawler in his last, say, 2 fights, in all his interviews, he's just kind of there yeah, I'm fighting. Fighting's fun, whatever. He's been very monotone, hasn't been talking too much. He didn't seem to have that same drive, that same animal in him that he had previously in his career. But now in his interviews, he's I feel like he's been talking about how the beast is back. He feels rejuvenated. He really loves fighting again. So that could be Ben Askren's undoing, because he might come out like an absolute beast and just fucking knock Askren's socks off in the opening minutes. So I don't know. I'm going to pick Ben Askren because I think that knee injury is going to influence his takedown defense. So yeah, that's my pick, Ben Askren. And also, Ben Askren's got a lot more takedowns than just shooting for a double leg or only having body locks. He can do both. He can transition to both. He can shoot for a double leg. If that doesn't work, move his way up to a body lock. Or get a body lock. If that's not working, go down for a single leg, double leg, trips, whatever. He can do it all. So that's my opinion.
I hope you're right. Because I'm loving Ben Askren and his talks, and I'm also loving Woodley. Woodley just seems a lot more fun when he and Ben are together.
Yes.
I was watching. Yes, right.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
It's so true. He doesn't seem like a sore, like he has a chip on his shoulder, or you know what I mean. You just see Woodley more genuine, just having fun with his mate, and it makes him more likable.
Yeah, there's no hashtag racism when you're hanging around with Ben Askren. It's just hey,
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Dude, this guy's so much fun. Oh, he should have done this years ago. They did the open workout together as well, which was pretty cool.
I agree. And speaking of Woodley, I see him beating Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, dude. I think people are highly underestimating Usman. If Tyron Woodley can beat Usman, this is they're not going to credit it as this, but this is one of the bigger wins in his career, because Usman is a fucking demon.
I don't agree with you. I don't rate the guy.
Have you seen many of his fights?
Yeah, no, but no.
Because you say that you don't rate a lot of guys, but then I always ask you how many of their fights have you watched, and you haven't watched many.
Yeah, no, I haven't. That's true. That is
So
true.
if you don't rate him, I understand if you haven't watched his fights. I wouldn't rate him either if I'd only seen, say, 2 of his fights, because they're normally very boring, but they don't have to be fun. John Fitch was an incredible fighter. Boring as fuck, but he was able to take guys down and control them. That's still a skill set that no one could stop, apart from obviously the people that stopped him. But he had huge win streaks, and Usman, he's like a Fitch who can knock dudes out as well. He doesn't knock many guys out, but when he does hit guys, he hurts them, and he hurts them bad. And he has not. He's only had 1 knockout in his last 9 in his 9 fights. But yeah, man, that wrestling, man, like if he can put the hurt on Woodley at the start and pressure him to the cage, because Woodley does back up to that cage a lot, and against a good wrestler, he hasn't fought a wrestler like Usman in his current winning streak. And last time he did fight a wrestler like that was like a Jake Shields, and he struggled in the wrestling department. Jake Shields was able to control him against the fence. So if Usman can take a similar route, and Usman's a better wrestler than Shields by far, he's going to capitalize on that, and he's going to take him down. So if Woodley can get this win, I see this as a huge feather in his cap. Huge. Because Usman is fucking ginormous as well. He's got the same physique, if not bigger than Woodley, and he's like another 2-3 inches taller. He's like a jacked freaking Darren Till. Everyone's going on about Darren Till's size. It's like he's got long arms and he's tall, but he's skinny as fuck.
Here's the thing, right? Darren Till looks huge, but it's because Woodley's short. Yeah. Darren Till and I are the same height, and I'm not a big guy.
This is true. This is very true. He talks about his height and whatnot, and he's got long reach maybe, but yeah, Darren Till looks big as well, because every time he stands in front of someone, he does that thing where he puts his arms out, so it makes him look a lot bigger than he actually is. Not like that, like in the like you know that old school boxing. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that. So yeah. Personally, I think Tyron Woodley has all the skills to beat Usman, but I think Usman, I should say, I don't know, maybe that's how you pronounce it, I don't know. But I think he also has the correct skills to beat Tyron Woodley. But I'll put my money on Woodley, because I'm sick of betting against him and losing my money. So
I nearly put money on Woodley, but what you said convinced me otherwise.
Really?
I was thinking about it. Yeah, I'm being serious. I was thinking about it. I was going to put money on Woodley, and then what you said, I was like, maybe Kris knows something I don't, so I decided not to.
Yeah, well, I was trying to have this conversation with the scammer guys, and they're all just like, oh, have you seen Woodley? He's huge. I'm like, have you guys seen Kamaru Usman? Don't go giving me this shit if you haven't, just because you haven't watched these fights doesn't mean you can't rate the guy. I'm sorry, I'm not directing this specifically at you. I'm directing this at everyone, because no one has seen this. Not many people have seen this guy fight, because of the fact people talk about how boring he is, and because of the fact they haven't given him a platform yet. They haven't, like, they've given him main events against RDA. That's all good and well. RDA was coming off a loss. They gave him a main event against Maya. Maya was coming off 2 losses. So they haven't given him a good platform. They should have given him someone who's coming off wins, who he can beat, or whether he can or can't beat. Like, they should have given him a Darren Till. A Darren Till, after losing to Woodley, still would have been a good fight to win. But yeah, so they've kind of screwed up his because this could be a bigger fight than it actually is, had they brought him up a little bit better, but they haven't. So yeah, this is a very, like, for me, this is a much, like, we all thought Till was going to lose to Tyron Woodley. We didn't know how. We thought it might be a boring win, but it kind of was until the finish, when it got to the ground. But yeah, this is a legitimate scary fight for Tyron Woodley that people are not giving credit to. Like, this could easily be the guy that beats Woodley. But I would still put my money on Woodley, because I bet against him too many times now. I haven't bet against him since I bet against him for the Maya fight, because I thought Maya was gonna, because Maya's taken down a lot of guys, and I thought maybe I thought he'd be tricky enough to get it to the ground, and I thought, yeah, that obviously didn't happen. But since then I haven't bet. I refuse to bet against him.
Man, can you imagine? Askren beats Robbie, or Kamaru beats Woodley. Askren fights Kamaru for the title.
And Askren has the ability to beat a guy like Usman.
Yes. Yes, I do. I believe that.
Alright, so that's been my opinion. I'm glad that I was able to convince at least one person. Hopefully someone else watches this and I can convince them too. So let's move up. Let's move up to the main event, John Jones and Anthony Smith. Ooh, my God, I love seeing John Jones fight. I get it. He's a drug cheat, all that stuff.
He tested positive again.
But as I've explained in a lot of these chats that we've got going on Facebook, if he doesn't test positive, then the whole story behind this whole PD thing doesn't make sense. Oh, don't die there.
I choked on water.
Mate, if you choke on water, then I should be able to choke you out every time we roll. Alright. Alright, I'm just going to quickly go over this whole John Jones thing again. I did a video on it previously when he tested positive, but I'll quickly brush through it again. He has to test positive. If he doesn't test positive, then the whole story that Nowitzki, USADA, it doesn't make any sense. Because the whole idea behind it is that this M3 metabolite is stored in the fat muscles. But not just the fat muscles that surround like your muscles, your skeletal muscles, but your organs. The fat that sits there, that doesn't break down unless you put your body through serious stress. Serious stress such as weight cutting. So when he starts going through the weight cutting process, all those M3 metabolites start to get released. So that's the pulsing thing that they're talking about. So if he wasn't testing positive, then that pulsing that they're talking about wouldn't make sense, and it would be somewhat of a lie. So he has to be testing positive. So people going like fucking losing their minds over him testing positive are people that haven't looked into it.
Okay. Chris, a man gets a gun to your head and says, Johnny Bone Jones, has he ever used PEDs? Yep. Yes or no?
Well, yes, because it's in his system. I'm not saying that he hasn't used it. I'm saying the whole idea is that he used it in the past, and this M3 metabolite lasts a long time in your system.
You don't think he's still jacking?
I have no idea. I'm saying that if they're going with this story, then he has to be testing positive.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to make a prediction on if he is or isn't still using. For all I know, yeah, he could be fucking jacking himself up with that shit all day. I don't know that, though. I'm just saying, with the story that they've put out there, if he doesn't test positive for his next couple of fights, because they say it's supposed to last in your system for up to a year plus. So if he doesn't test positive, that means that whole story they came up with is complete bullshit.
Oh yeah, when was the dick pill thing? Was it a year ago?
Well, no, the dick pills was about 3 years ago.
So
this last one they couldn't explain. Yes, and USADA said that he didn't intentionally take it. I don't know where do they come up with this shit? How do you know if someone intentionally took it? How do you know? You weren't there. It's stupid. It's stupid. Alright, let's talk about the fight. We've talked about the fucking PD things too much. Either way, John Jones fighting is always a good time. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
So, let's talk about that. He's fighting a guy in Anthony Smith, who... I love Anthony Smith. I think he has a good chance. Not a good chance. I think he does have opportunities to win the fight. I don't think he will, though. I don't think he will, because he's also the type of fighter that John Jones thrives off. A pressure fighter, someone that pressures him. John Jones is going to counter that. We saw what happened when Anthony Smith was taken down by Volkov. So, yeah. If No Time can take you down and control you in the second round, then you can guarantee John Jones is going to take you down whenever he wants and fuck you up. And I think that's going to be the path to victory for John. If John Jones decides to strike with Anthony Smith, it's going to be a bad time for John Jones, I think. So if Anthony Smith can find a way to keep the fight standing for a bit, he's going to have better moments, especially in the clinch. He has great elbows and knees from the clinch. But if he throws those knees, obviously he might struggle not to be taken down. But his elbows, man. Have you watched these fights?
Anthony? No.
He's got this killer right elbow that he always throws, and it almost always lands.
Okay, the one fight I watched him fight was him getting demolished by Santos.
Yeah, he got demolished at the end, but he also fucked Santos off. Santos up at moments in that fight. That was a back and forth fight. The end finished with Santos on top, but that fight was still very back and forth. Because I watched that fight very recently, and I was like, oh shit, I thought Anthony Smith got smoked, but no, he didn't. He got beat, but he got beat. That's like saying that Rory McDonald got smoked by Robbie Lawler. No, the ending finished with Rory on the ground holding his nose, but Robbie was losing that fight.
Mm.
Anyways, that's my opinion. Give me your opinion. What do you think on John Jones versus Anthony Smith?
I agree with you, mate. I think Anthony Smith can win the fight. I think he's a good fighter. At the same time, I just think that Jones is simply better. He just has a better skill set. And Anthony Smith is not a great fighter. He's a good fighter. There's a difference. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Anthony has a puncher's chance, and see how it goes.
All right, there we go. That's the entire card, man. 35 minutes, and we're done. Look at that. Look at that. I was hoping to make it faster, but it is what it is. Anyways, would you like to thank anyone, good sir?
I want to thank you.
Oh,
And I want to thank our sponsors, Aussie Pet Doors, as mentioned, promo 10% off, UFC 10, and Scammer Gym.
I love it. Also, if you want to creep on us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We've got a Twitch account. If people start watching that shit on Twitch, I might start chucking shit back up. Who knows? If you got any questions for us, leave it in the comment section. Please, guys, if you I should say this at the start, because if people don't watch this far in, they're not going to get this message. I'll start saying it at the start. But yeah, if you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Leave them on Twitter. Leave them on Instagram. Leave them on Facebook. We will see it. We will respond to it. Either whether it's on Facebook, we can respond to it on camera. Up to you. All good. Yeah, that's all sweet. And as Dan said, promo code UFC10. Call them up. Do whatever. Yeah, all good. Cool. Let's call it quits, man.
Thanks as always, Chris.
Peace out. Now let's play that music.